All right, good morning and greetings from South Georgia, USA on October the 12th, 2024. We are out here planting onion seed for the third time. The first time it was a little early, a little bit warm. The second time the hurricane came through here and washed a lot of the seed away. However, we did get a good many bunching onions over there. And turn around there and show them those bunching onions right behind your heel, Debbie. Can you zero in on those?
Yeah.
Got those, but they're spotty. Now we are planting again, but this time I'm doing a better job. I'm using a string, and I'm going to leave the string so that I'll know exactly where the onions are. I'm doing this by hand. I'll show you. I got me a bunch of seeds in here. Oh, by the way, this is yellow Granex. This is one of the original Vidalia onion varieties. So I'm basically make a 90-degree mark across my string, and then I just make a mark with my finger, and I put them out kind of thick, just as it falls out of the fingers like that. Onion is a very small seed, so you don't put much dirt on it. I just a little bit of dirt here. Just a little bit. And then you pat it down. The reason that I use a string is because onions germinate rather slow and they're very small when they come up. And if I have a string, I'm going to be able to cultivate with my garden weasel or some other device and pretty much be sure that I don't hit the onions if I can't see them. So this is the, make a 90-degree mark across the string, make a little furrow straight under. I made a video years ago planting onion plants, and I do it on my knees, and somebody said, well, why don't you just bend over? Well, because I don't bend over as good as I used to bend over. And my knees don't get tired. I have learned one thing, and I don't always do it, but there's ants in the ground. And when I wear pants, if it's sufficiently cool, they don't bite me. But if it's in the summertime, I do it in shorts, and I have to endure the bites of the ants. These are the yellow Granex. Now the modern versions of the Vidalia onion type have been bred, hybridized for quite a few years for such things as sweetness. They have a device that they can stick into the onion and tell how much sugar that's got. In my opinion, they may as well just eat an apple if they want a bunch of sugar in an onion, but that's, you know how sugar is. Sugar is what the nation is hooked on. And you know sugar's not good. Sugar causes all kinds of trouble with the human body. These yellow Granex are plenty sweet. They're not, another thing about the older varieties, the yellow Granex, well, they probably don't store as well either. So the plant breeders, not only are they trying to breed onions with a lot of sugar in it, but they would also like to have onions that store well so that they can put them in warehouses and climate controlled warehouses and have them available on the market longer, which is not a bad thing. But God has graciously given us plants that grow some of it grows in hot weather, some of it grows in cold weather, like these onions, and some of it grows in the cool weather. So He's provided us with plants year-round down here in South Georgia anyway. It's a little bit late, but you know, my theory on it is just keep on planting and you'll hit it right. Because if you just plant one time, weather conditions can come along and you may not have a crop. So that's just my way of looking at it. And there is no insurance for the market gardener or the small gardener, like Gardner Israel. There's no federal crop insurance for the homesteader. So we have to have two types of insurance. One of them is we plant multiple times. We diversify our crops and we rotate our crops. That's insurance. And another insurance that we have is the promise that Jesus Christ gave us, that He will protect His children. He will not leave them orphans. And if we do our part, and we're going to have to work. Now, He's not going to send us food without working. The Christian ethic is to work. That's the other insurance. I'll tell you a story about my great-grandfather who built a house and had a farm pretty near here in 1900. And he also was a believer like I am. And he was a member of one of the founding members of a church around here called the Primitive Baptist Church. And they had particular ideas about how people should behave. They were very strict people. They didn't believe in drinking. Although one particular oddity of that church is that they were allowed to drink one day a year. So they were not teetotalers. They didn't want to have that label. So once a year, I'm not sure when it was, New Year's Day or some particular day, I never heard that part of it, but I know this is a true story. My great-grandfather would have a toddy. They called it a toddy. Have one drink, and that would be it until the next year. But back to the Primitive Baptist Church, another one of their beliefs was that God would provide, and that they thought that insurance was a form of gambling. Because, you know, insurance is, everybody puts a certain amount into the pool, and really put them thick right here at the end to get rid of these seeds. And then if disaster strikes you, the insurance will cover it. Well, they didn't believe in insurance, and so they didn't buy insurance. They felt like that God would take care of them. Well, I have insurance on my car, but I have to. Back in the days when they were first making cars, there was no laws, but you have to have insurance now in certain businesses, so I don't guess insurance companies make a lot of money, and sometimes you hit it right, All right, that's the yellow Granex onions, and the other ones that I planted on this same row, one of them was called long white bunching, and I planted them thick. I intend to, if this comes up good, I intend to pull these up and leave some in there, you know, about that far apart, and use the other ones to start new rows. Okay, that's my tutorial on planting onions with a string and by hand. Now they have devices that'll put the onions out, you know, but I don't think you can beat your hands. These are marvelous devices right here, and you can do more with your hands than anything else. All right, this is Gardner Israel, hoping that you have a good gardening season and don't be afraid to prep and grow a garden. I will tell you this about gardening. I've been doing it a long time. You got to start before you ever plant. A long time, maybe a year. If you've got a place to plant and it's got grass and weeds in it, you can't just go out there and plant. I would say 90% of the gardens that fail is because you haven't prepped. So if you've got a garden spot and you're wanting to say, if you're going to try to plant this spring, you're already late in getting that garden spot ready. You have to rototill it and kill the grass and see, another thing is, even if you kill the grass, you've got a bunch of stuff in it like this right here. That's a root of grass. It's dead, and that's good. But you don't want too much of that either, and that will eventually rot, but it takes a long time. Preparing now to plant later. Preparing now by asking Jesus to save you so that you later will enter the kingdom of heaven. All right, this is Gardner Israel signing off.